Of Valor and Vice, a Revelry's Tempest novel. Written by K.J. Jackson. Narrated by Anais Inara Chase. Chapter 1. London, England, March 1813. The marriage, on all counts, had been a disaster. The web of black lace on her veil tickled the tip of her nose, and Lady Pipworth stared at the black box being lowered into the ground, determined not to sneeze. The ropes under the coffin creaked under the strain, several of the frayed cords snapping. Her right cheek lifted in a half cringe. Her husband always had been generous in the belly. She had come to the burial against the advice of her late husband's cousin, sitting in the confines of the drawing-room sobbing, as was usual and proper in this situation, as for a wife who would actually miss her husband. Adalia would not. Nor did she wish it to appear so. She would see her husband into the ground, pay him that respect, and then attempt to wash the last 2 years from her mind. Dirt thumped onto the black wood. 1 thud, 2, 3, 4, until the dirt fell quietly into the hole, piling in covert silence upon itself. The dirt began heaping above the gravesite, and the small crowd around her started to shift, dispersing. 6 more shovels dumped, and the black mound was complete. Adalia was the last to turn from the gravesite. Due respect, whether he deserved it or not. She walked slowly down the serpentine path of the graveyard, lifting her gloved fingertip to scratch her nose. As long as she kept the crowd in front of her, she could avoid the distant relatives of her late husband who had appeared at his death. They would have questions for her, and she had no answers. She could already tell by the pursed lips, the looks of curiosity during the funeral, that they had discovered how thoroughly her husband had driven the Pipworth estate into the ground. Never a creditor he could not charm, or a bauble for his mistress he could resist. His second cousin, the new Marquis of Pipworth, had inherited a mess along with the title. But that was the extent of Adalia's knowledge on the matter. She looked up to the trees dotting the hillside between the rows of neat granite headstones, slowing her gait as she avoided the pointed backward glances of the relatives. They were rabid for a target.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?